Yeah, trendsetter. Whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center. Hit it dead center. Bullseye, hit it the most, there's no misses. Something like fish in a barrel, it's no dip.
Boom! Wow. What a segue. We should have really done that for episode 100. This is episode 101. We can't do uniforms anymore. It's good to be back, guys. Good to see everyone. This is Mike. Groovy Tuesday night. My numero uno. Lead producer, Pedro. How's life?
It's going well. Look at this. Wait, hold on. Ready?
What?
I know we got a whole segment dedicated to this, but I can't figure out how to do it. Anyway, how you guys doing?
Start.
Lead producer.
Lead content guy, Brian. Welcome back.
Ooh, there it is.
And Steve, how's the summer going, Steve?
It's going. It's kind of officially underway now.
Well, it's almost the end of July, so one could argue it's almost over at this stage of the game. But so I think this marks the beginning of season 4 and season 24. Do I have that right?
No, season 26.
Wow. Oh, that's right. Last year was 25. We made a big deal about that.
You know,
Season 4, season 26. Case,
You okay
how's the high horse? Case, how's the title summer?
It's been awesome. I haven't thought about fantasy football once.
Pete, how many trades did you send out today?
just one, just to you.
Oh, yeah. Is it happening?
Feels honored.
Pete.
It should happen. Mike is
No.
being difficult, but it should.
I
happen.
bet you, if you guys look at Pete's roster, who do you think he offered me as one of the pieces of the trade?
I couldn't tell you who's on Pete's roster right now.
I looked at everyone.
Kyler.
I looked at who?
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. But there's a solid trade in there.
It was
Mike
a
wants
fair
to
trade.
hinge.
I moved
Mike
on
wants
from
to
Kyler,
put
though.
his. Mike wanted
Hold on. We'll do recall. What happened to Pete Dynasty? All these dudes under 26-year-old. You had Kyler Murray, Trey McBride. You had all these Cardinals that you were going to build around.
Yeah, I still planned. I have that plan. But if Kyler Murray's available, then it becomes another team. There's method to this madness, Brian. Don't worry about
It's
it.
any consolation, he did offer a trade for someone who would have continued that standing on his team. So
Exactly. See, it's always
the trade, the conceptual trade that Pete offered me, as per usual, made sense. I'm not really in the flow. I forgot
per
about
usual,
football.
Mike didn't
I
do
didn't
it
look at
even
the
though it made
rosters.
sense. Yeah. Per usual, Mike's like, yeah, this makes total sense. Nope, not going to do it.
That's not what I said. That's not what
I have
said.
started to go on X and scroll through all the fantasy gurus out there now that camp's about to start to get into the mindset, but I haven't wrapped my head around anything yet.
Did you get any good nuggets?
I'm calling it X
What?
is pretty trendy.
No. Well, what do you Twitter?
He's up
You
to
still
the
go-
times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still
I don't. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
I don't have to call things these days.
Well, it's the off season, guys. So I didn't prep for this. Pete texted me at work. I wrote the word interesting back to Pete. That's what I wrote. Interesting. That's what I said. I went through everybody's rosters. And I didn't do my usual very rigorous analytical approach to the offseason. But what I did start to do was I have a little segment for us to start to talk about each team. If you guys want to pull up your rosters, I would like to play a little keep, cut, trade
Wow. Okay.
with these rosters. So I looked at everybody's roster. So I looked left to right on our Google Doc, and I started to just take a peek, and I said, does this team have some consistencies that I thought was interesting? Pete, that is a great segment ad. For folks listening, it says keep cut trade. And so, for example, I started with Kevin Breen's team. And my synthesis when I read Kevin's team was like, man, he's got a lot of question marks. And when I looked at his keepers, I coined the 3 that I named for his team the dart throws. He's going to have to keep 1, if not 2, of those young receivers on his roster. So if I present to you these 3 players, keep, cut, or trade, Josh Downs from the Indianapolis Colts, Quentin Johnson from the Los Angeles Chargers, or Devontae, I'm going to say his name wrong, Wicks from the Packers. Steve, who in that group you think solid keep? Wicks, Johnson, Downs.
I like Downs with Richardson coming back. So
And who? Keep Downs. Case DeLuca. Anything to add on those? Who would you keep? Who would you cut? Who would you trade?
I agree with Steve. I'd probably keep Downs. I think that the trade value for Johnson is probably at its highest, so I would probably trade him. He's the most recognizable name. And I don't know the last guy, so I'd probably cut him.
Well, Wicks is the problem with Wicks is that it's a crowded wide receiver. Crowded.
Look at those takes. God, he's back. So it seems like consensus says keep Downs, trade Johnson, cut Wicks. Do we have consensus?
Yeah.
All right. Looking forward to Pete sending Kevin Breen a trade offer for Quentin Johnson momentarily. I don't love Kevin's roster, guys. The one thing we couldn't do is we couldn't say Marvin Harrison. He's got Marvin Harrison.
He wasn't last place last year.
So we got Marvin Harrison. Team number 2, I went to Casey's team, alphabetical Breen, then Casey. Case, you have a pretty solid team. It's a pretty deep team. And I called your segment, What Bet is Title Chasing? Case, I won't have you answer this. Pete, we'll go to you first. I have these 3 as my keep cut trade for Brian. I've got Raheem Mostert. I've got Gus Bus. Who knows what team Gus Bus is on?
He's on San Diego now.
That's not a team anymore, but you're correct.
Yeah,
and Adam Thielen as the 3 for Brian. Keep cut trade, Mostert, Gus Bus, Thielen. Wait, is Thielen on a roster?
Carolina.
Was he cut?
Might have been cut.
I don't think he's been cut yet.
Switch Kittle. Put Kittle in there for Thielen. Kittle, Edwards, Mostert. Pete.
I'd probably end up keeping Mostert because I think they're in the most explosive offense. I'd cut Thielen because I don't believe he's on a team right now.
What if it's Kittle? Go Kittle. Go Kittle.
Thielen is still with the Panthers, Mike.
Oh, go back to Kittle. I like Kittle better. I don't think he's on the team.
Then Kittle I would keep. Mostert I would trade, and Gus I would cut.
Steve, you agree with Pete's consensus?
I'm cutting Mostert. I'm keeping Kittle, and might look to make a trade for Edwards. I think in Los Angeles they're going to run the ball. They're going to be a run heavy team. I think Edwards is going to get, he's going to be that 12 to 13 carry a game guy goal line. So I think he's got some value.
Steve, if you had to project out,
we can pick him up.
Steve, if you had to project out towards the end of the season, based off today, I won't hold you to this. Assuming you think Gus has more fantasy points than Mostert.
I do. I think A-Chain is going to take over. And they also just drafted a running back in Miami as well. So I think Mostert's kind of going to be on the outskirts there.
Shots fired to you, Case. Do you agree with Steve's take, or are you in Pete's boat?
We might be talking about guys freaking 10, 11, 12 on the roster here. So
looking at Case's roster, I don't think that Mostert is a guy that Case is going to keep right now.
Talked about 3 guys that Breen would kill to have that I'm probably going to cut all of them. So
yeah, one of those guys is going to be his 10th keeper at the moment. So you're at the bottom of the barrel. Next team, I call next team young versus old. Team Kaleli up next. I think I have 9 legit guys who I'm thinking about keeping. So my bottom 3 are my question marks. Keep, cut, trade. 2 old guys, Brandon Cooks, James Conner, and young upside guy, Kendre Miller. Keep, cut, trade.
Brandon Cooks is cut.
He's got trade bait based off my text message change today.
Yeah. I think you should trade.
I'm going to fine line there, Mike.
Okay, so I think you should trade Cooks to me, and then go ahead and keep Connor and cut that Miller guy.
Steve hates Connor, so he'll say cut Connor.
I would trade James Conner. I would trade James Conner.
Yeah.
Who do you keep that case?
Hey, that's tough. I'd probably keep Cooks then and cut Miller. I think Miller's all value.
Steve, do you see what I see in Kendre Miller? For some reason I see upside in the guy. I don't know what it is.
You can pull it to Darian, just keep a really young guy for a while and see if he pans out.
Well, I like to make the playoffs. So
I like James Conner. I think he's a workhorse and when he's healthy.
Okay, we'll see if Cooks is on my team tomorrow, guys. According to somebody else on this podcast, there's a lot of interest. Next team, it's the dice roll. Pete DeLuca's dice roll. A bunch of these guys, I think, had a ton of upside. Pete's buying high. Maybe Pete has them high. These are low-end keepers. 3, keep, cut, trade. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Mike Williams. Who knows what team Mike Williams is on?
Jets.
Jets, thank you. And we know he's selling Cardinals. What's he doing with Trey McBride? Keep, cut, trade. CEH, Mike Williams, Trey McBride.
I think he's cutting Edwards-Helaire. He's going to keep McBride. He loves McBride. He's a big McBride guy. Maybe trade Mike Williams coming from the Jets.
This is tough because I think two of those guys have like zero value. So it's just if you want CEH and Mike Williams have zero value. So I think it's what you want to do with McBride. You want to keep him as a piece, or do you want to trade him and then just hold on to CEH and cut him after you trade for somebody?
Why do you think Mike Williams has? Why do you think Mike Williams has zero value with Aaron Rodgers coming back?
Because he's always hurt.
Right, but there's appeal.
I mean, how many times we do the same story where Mike Williams is going to have a breakout year? Mike Williams turns his ankle and done for the season.
Yeah, but breakout is done for him. I mean, he's a guy that's coming off an injury now. There isn't a big expectation for him. There's a number one receiver that's already there. He doesn't have to be the guy.
I think he has zero value.
Pete's team sucks based off the exercise I did today. So we'll see how many of those guys he has. He may have to keep all 3 of them. So good luck, Pete.
He's going to trade all 3 of them.
He won't have any of those guys on his team in a week and a half. Darian's team is next, and I'm going to ask a question. I mean this from a fantasy football perspective.
Okay.
What do Christian Darian, Steve DeVito, and Jeff Innes all have in common?
Nothing to do with head size.
Shower slides.
I don't know.
They all have 3 or more tight ends currently on their roster, but they're all pretty close to having to keep these 3 tight ends. So this is your loose end section, sponsored by Arm & Hammer. Keep your boys cool with Arm & Hammer this summer. First team up, Christian Darian. We're right here. He's going to have to keep 1, if not 2 of these guys. Loose ends for Christian. Keep, cut, trade. Hawkinson, Pitts, and Dalton Kincaid. I know Kincaid feels like an outlier. He might be their number 2 receiving option because everybody else is gone. Hawkinson, Pitts, Kincaid. Keep, cut, trade.
If you've looked at, in case you said you've looked online, Dalton Kincaid's a trendy breakout guy this year. Already come out with that on ESPN. Pitts is so volatile, right? But he hasn't had a quarterback.
Yeah.
So maybe he's got a quarterback. I right now, with what's going on in Minnesota, I think I'd cut Hawkinson, as weird as that might sound.
Oh, who are you going to trade? Trade and keep cut, trade, Steve. Follow the segment.
I'm going to trade Pitts, and I'm going to keep Kincaid. Actually, no, I'm going to trade Kincaid, keep Pitts. Sorry.
I'm going to trade Kincaid, try to sell high on the hype.
Yep.
I'm going to keep Pitts, see if that plays out, first-round tight end, and I'm going to cut Hawkinson. His quarterback is left to go to Atlanta, where Pitts is.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with Case.
I feel like you would take Pitts, Pete.
Yeah, I would.
Pitts had Pitts before.
Pitts finally has a quarterback now who loves to throw to tight ends. So,
yeah.
Rank at the end of the year, Pete. Who's the number 1, number 2, and number 3 point getter in that group?
I think Pitts would be number 1, Kincaid number 2, Hawkins 3.
Might agree with that.
Yeah.
Steve?
same.
All right. Next tight end team, Steve DeVito's team. Steve, you're going to have to keep one of these guys, I believe.
Are we doing alphabetical?
I'm skipping. I'm going to come back to DeVito in a second.
Thought I caught you.
The only way Steve wouldn't have to keep one of these guys is if he goes 2 quarterback and there's one other thing he can do. But these guys are right there. So keep one. I didn't even put, Steve, just so you know, I didn't even put Andrews in this segment because you're going to keep Andrews.
Okay.
Keep, cut, trade. Njoku, Ingram, Likely. Well, you're not going to keep Likely. You have Andrews. Put Burrow in there for Likely.
Are you asking me this right now?
Well, you won't go first.
Yeah,
so
I'm not
take
gonna
out Likely. Give me Burrow, Ingram, and Njoku. So Burrow, a lot of value, backup quarterback. Case?
I'm gonna trade Burrow.
To who? Everybody has a quarterback.
I know, but he's the most valuable. Pete. I'm gonna cut Likely. Is that you still Njoku?
No, he's out. Njoku and Ingram.
And I'm gonna keep Ingram.
Pete?
I probably wouldn't keep 2 tight ends though. So
Yeah, I agree with Case again.
it's a flawed question.
I don't think either tight end is worth keeping, and Burrow I would either keep or trade.
Oh, I don't see this at all the same. I would cut Burrow in a heartbeat.
Really?
Yep, I would keep Njoku.
Yeah, it's a good way to cash on the value.
Njoku was a touchdown. I'm not a tight end guy. Njoku has a ton of value, and I would cut Ingram. Too many mouths to feed in Jacksonville. I don't trust it. So I guess I would trade Burrow then. Cut Ingram. I don't think you can get anything for him. I'd be keeping Njoku, but I'd cut Burrow for the sake of this. I'll cut Burrow.
You're gonna cut the most valuable asset to trade a guy that has no value.
Quarterbacks aren't a valuable asset in this league. Everybody has a quarterback. Steve, what are you going to do out of those 3?
I don't
know yet, Michael. Haven't decided.
All right, fine. Last loose end to square up. Team Innis. Goddard, Laporta, Ferguson.
I'm keeping Laporta. I'm cutting Goddard and I'm keeping Ferguson.
You kept 2.
Sorry, trading. I'm trading. Actually, you know what? I'll trade Goddard. I'll cut Ferguson, and I'm going to keep.
I think to trade Goddard.
Yeah.
I'm trading Laporta.
Yeah, I trade Laporta too.
Oh, you guys think Laporta's got downside this season?
No, it's not downside. It's the highest value for a position that doesn't carry a lot of weight. So try to cash in on the most valuable asset.
Yeah,
why does he carry a lot of weight? I don't understand why you keep saying tight end doesn't have a lot of weight. I mean, if a guy's catching 6 or 7 balls a game with 80 yards at a touchdown, what's the difference with that and wide receiver from our format? It's not a standalone position.
No.
It doesn't matter if you're a receiver, running back, or a tight end. If you're catching
if you're the number 1 tight end, you are not a top 5 wide receiver. So trying to get somebody to bid on.
I'm not talking about top 5
guys. Hey, I'll give you the top tight end, but if you look at all receivers, they're not in the top 10 of receivers. You understand what I'm saying? So it's value.
Yeah, but if you were to look at Njoku's statistics in the last 5 weeks of the year, he was a top 10 guy.
I keep seeing all these things on the bottom, Pete. There's so many graphics. I'm distracted by Tony Kornheiser.
It's like CNN in the bottom screen.
I wasn't listening to you guys. Next team, Davina's team's pretty interesting this year. I don't know if you guys followed the offseason for Andy. I certainly didn't, but at 8:40 tonight, I looked and said, boy, interesting stuff. He may have to keep all these guys, but this is more of an exercise for where this group sees value and how to handle a pretty legit running back carousel. I think Case froze. The carousel that he's dealing with is Derrick Henry, Devin Singletary, Aaron Jones. So just to recap for the fans, Henry now in Baltimore, Singletary now the number 1 in New York, and Aaron Jones the number 1 in Oakland. So you kind of have value in all of them. He could potentially keep all 3, but in this exercise, I'm making you keep, cut, trade Henry, Singletary, Jones.
I'm cutting Singletary. I'll trade Jones, and I'll keep Henry. I keep Henry.
I'm trading Henry. 100 out of 100. I'm trading Henry.
I don't think he has any value.
Why?
I would keep Henry just because I think that the value is fair enough to keep, but you wouldn't get enough in return. I do think he's going to have a great season. I just don't think anyone's going to pay for it. I would probably trade Jones because he's got a bigger name and you could sell more. Like he catches passes and the whole thing.
He could get challenged by Zamir White in Vegas too.
He could.
Yeah, he is.
I'm with Pete.
I only brought that up. Devin Singletary, not the sexiest of names. There is a world where at the end of the season, this guy's the highest point getter out of the 3 we just talked about. Mainly because there's nobody else. The Giants' offense stinks. Nobody else can touch the ball. So there's a world where he does first half of last year. Devin Singletary's getting 25 touches a game, and he might have 25 carries for 87 yards and a touchdown and 7 targets. And you're like, he stinks and he's good. So
problem is they have too many wideouts. They're going to be behind. They're going to be throwing the ball. Singletary's not a pass catcher.
They were behind every game last year, and they had Singletary can catch the ball in the backfield. I don't worry about that too much. Last 2 teams. So going through this, guys, the last 2 teams in our list, I actually found the teams were both very, very good.
You making content.
I'm talking about Lloyd and Spates. Managerially below average. Like 2 guys you don't trust at all to make decisions about turning right, turning left. They're still using Garmin, I heard, as their GPS, which only goes to tell you. Let's start with Lloyd, though. Lloyd's team's pretty good. I think his keepers are like right there. And so the bottom of his roster, he's going to have an upside receiver question. And so my keep, cut, trade for Lloyd, Josh Palmer, Rashid Shaheed, Rashid Rice. keep, cut, trade Palmer, Shaheed, and Rice.
Anyone know the latest on the legal battle with Rashid Rice? What's going on with that?
That's a question, Brian. We don't know.
Nothing will happen this year. He'll be fine.
I agree.
Pushed off.
Pete, what do you think?
I would keep Rice. The other two, I don't really care about.
Thanks.
I don't care about the trade for him, and I don't even cut him.
I would cut Shaheed. What was the other one, Mike? Oh, Palmer.
Palmer and Rice.
Keep Rice, trade Palmer.
I would trade Rice and keep Palmer.
Yeah, I'm with Case on that one. I would do it.
Yeah,
I think you can still get value out of those.
We're talking about like the bottom three of anybody's roster here. So it's like you just try, if you're at the bottom, trade the guy that has the most value so you can get anything better back, right? Like that's sort of the consensus.
Yeah.
Except for
the last guy's got an interesting case. I didn't even know this until 8:42 tonight because I got to his last when I was going through the order. I've got 11 keepers on Lloyd's roster.
On Lloyd's?
On Spates' roster.
Wow, you've already done all that.
I mean, I just bolded it. I probably did it wrong. I don't know.
He's got to get the keepers right so he can do his point system next.
I'll do that later. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Don't judge the point system.
It takes a while.
Don't edit.
I didn't know that Austin Eckler
went 11 too.
I didn't know Austin Eckler went to Washington.
Yeah, he's with the Commanders now, and he's in a terrible role.
Like you are way out of focus.
That's all right. I'm here. Don't worry, guys. I'm locked in.
That's better.
He's got both the Commanders running backs. I feel like it used to be mirrored. Eckler, Brian Robinson, Zach Chardonnay. Keep, cut, trade out of those three. Are those the three you'd have, Steve? Are they your last three keepers?
What was again? Charbonnet, who?
Robinson.
Charbonnet, Robinson, and Eckler.
Yeah.
Who's Robertson? Brian
Robinson. Both the Commanders' backs are on Spates' team.
So I would cut Charbonnet.
Yeah.
I would keep Robinson and try to get something for Eckler.
Same.
Pete,
what are you gonna get for Eckler?
Somebody.
What can you get for Brian Robinson? What can you get for Zach Charbonnet besides
if Robinson goes down, Eckler would be the man, and that guy doesn't have a very good track record. Remember that one night?
I would try to trade Robinson personally. I don't think you're going to get anything for Eckler. Nobody's excited about Eckler, dude. He took no money. He's 29. He's little.
But
Robinson's been pretty solid. The only thing that took him out was a bullet.
Agreed.
Yeah, he's been pretty good. I would take the chance on keeping him and trading Eckler.
Spates is in win now mode. His team is very good.
You get Justin Jefferson for Austin Eckler.
Did you know at the end of the year at the reunion that DeVito didn't go to, I offered him T. Higgins for Austin Eckler, and he said no?
No.
Yeah, I did.
You ready to move on?
Ready. There you go. There's your segment.
That was pretty good.
Cut trade sponsored by Arm & Hammer. Keep your boys dry. Pete, back to you.
All right, training camps reported today. So this is usually when we start the first podcast to get ready for like the other podcasts that are coming up. Okay. So 23 teams reported today. Actually, there were a couple teams that reported last week. Can you guess the first team that reported to training camp?
I have no idea.
You got to know that one.
I feel like DeVito would know. I don't know.
Yeah.
The very first team to report to training camp was the Houston Texans, who reported on the 17th. The last teams that will report are the Falcons, the Cowboys, the Colts, and the Steelers. So
I was going to guess the Cowboys. I feel like Jerry runs the top shit now.
Speaking to that, those four teams are starting much later than the other ones. I saw that this is like a news segment, but I don't really want to talk about news. I want to talk about funny things. I saw that they released the average beer price at a stadium, and they have the number one highest price and the number 32 lowest price. Can you guys guess the number one highest price for a single 16-ounce beer? Where would you get it?
I was going to say California. San Fran?
L.A.?
Foxborough.
Both of you are all three of you are wrong. The number one highest beer is in Vegas, $14 for a 16.
Makes sense. Cheapest?
Can you guess the cheapest?
Ohio.
Atlanta.
DeVito nailing it. Atlanta, they specialize in cheap concessions.
It's unbelievable. Have you seen their prices? It's ridiculous.
No,
$6 for a beer. The same beer will cost you $6. That costs you $14.
Wait, Steve, how do you know that?
I actually saw something. They did a story on it on SportsCenter a couple weeks ago.
You saw that reported a training camp for?
Yes.
What, Mike?
Kaleli, well known that they have the cheapest concessions.
That's fine. That's well known. Steve saw a segment last week, and he's answering the question like it's new knowledge that he just guessed. Can't do that.
I wasn't guessing. I knew that's what it was.
That's the
You guys
point.
want to guys want to go down to Atlanta for cheap beers and watch Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, maybe. All right, the next one, Tyreek Hill. He says he wants to stay in Miami. He told his agent today, he was like, yo, don't mess around. Last time you messed around, I got traded. I don't want to get traded again. I want to stay in Miami. He also just fathered his 10th kid.
Oh, good for him.
We're all dads, multiple, except for Steve has one. The rest of us have two. What do you guys think of people that have 5 kids?
How do they do it?
At what point does it start to get insane? Do you see 3 and you're like, what about 4?
I mean, I'm from 4, but
was it
Your
crazy?
family was insane.
it felt crazy, but it's hard to remember when you're actually the kid.
4.
What Milford family had the most siblings?
Heminghoffers.
Yeah.
Really? How many?
I don't know, a lot.
It was close to double digits, I
A
think.
lot of Heminghoffers.
Messers. There was a ton of Messers.
A lot of Messers.
5 Messers.
How many Heminghoffers do you think? 8?
I think it was like 8 or
4
9.
Messers. 4 Messers.
5, no?
5?
No, there was at least 5 Messers.
Randy, Dan,
No, 4. Matt, Dan,
Matt,
and the daughter.
4.
Lauren. Yeah.
Whatever.
All
her name
right.
was.
All right. Anyway, so my favorite thing to do during training camp, right, like the first day of training camp, is Google NFL players in the best shape of their life. And what I want to do is I got the reports from the people that say, like, this guy's in the best shape of his life. And so I'm going to name a couple guys, and on a scale of one,
What you're searching?
on a
I
scale of
swear,
1
if DeVito saw this segment on SportsCenter
Did
and
not.
he now represents this as something he's guessing and makes us all look like fools, he's out of the podcast.
DK
No,
Metcalf.
What I want you to answer is I'm going to tell you a guy who has been reported to be in the best shape of his life, and tell me what you think about it. Okay, go
Okay.
right down the line.
One
okay?
word.
Sure, you can do
Okay.
whatever you want.
Okay.
All right, first guy reportedly in the best shape of his life, Baker Mayfield. Casey,
Full of shit.
Mike.
3.
I saw him at the Pebble Beach thing. He's not in the best shape of his life. He moved too slow.
It's all relative. It's all
He
relative.
moved too slow.
Vito.
Douche.
Okay, next guy, best shape of his life, AJ Brown, reportedly in the best shape of his life.
DK Metcalf wannabe.
Oh, okay, you don't have to keep it to one word or one phrase.
DeVito title.
That makes you think, DeVito, how does that make you feel? You own him in fantasy? Oh, he's feeling good. That's a video only. All right,
Follow
well,
on YouTube. Follow on YouTube if you want to see what that inside joke was about.
Breed
Or
was
outside
3 and
joke.
12 last year.
if that one made the bottle rise, how about this one? Lamar Jackson reportedly in the best shape of his life.
I'm gonna close out of this.
Roadrunner.
Injured by week 6.
Mimi.
You know what's odd is that he actually lost 20 pounds. Like he's like in like skinny shape, so it's actually not very good. But he says he's faster.
Better keep Burrow too, Steve.
Yep.
All right, 2 more of these because I really want to get your take on these last 2. Best shape of his life, Najee Harris.
Ooh.
Too late.
That's a good response.
That was good, Steve.
Hey,
Don't
who was the Green Bay Packers running back that was sort of the big bulky dude? He tried to lose weight at the end.
AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon.
No,
Eddie Lacy.
Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy comp.
I can't. Did he die at Lacy?
No, he died on my fantasy team.
Him and Cedric
I
Benson.
think the Najee Harris one's kind of interesting. There's some. They're gonna have a new team this year. They're lost receiver. They got a new system in place. I kind of like that. I think that's good.
They got a quarterback issue going on.
Nah,
Yeah,
Fields is
makes
gonna
Mike
start.
excited.
Fields will be their starter when we play.
Jalen Warren's team.
Oh, makes Mike excited. I like it. Okay,
I kinda like
and
that
the
guy.
last one, best shape of his life, Nick Chubb.
He's not going to play in week 1.
Is he hurt?
They're saying he's in the best shape of his life.
Is he in the best shape because all the things in his knee are replaced by metal?
Hey, I don't know. I'm just saying the report. Does it make you excited or not?
He could. He'll take some attention away from the joke of more play action passing.
Yeah,
No,
second
I
half
don't
green. That makes me think of second half green. Second half green.
All right. There you
I
go.
don't understand.
4 and 11 breed. 4 and 11 breed.
3-12. I just saw it on the ticker.
I know. I'd say Nick Chubb makes them 4-11.
I forgot last season. I mean, 9-6, 10-5, 10-5, 9-6. It was that close.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a grind.
This is after the postseason, obviously.
Of course.
This isn't regular season rankings anyway. Oh, what else can I do? So this is a good segue. Let's talk about cool things we can do on the podcast. You can do the ticker. I can make it say whatever you want. I add in all the text, so we can do. Look at it. It's the first round. I got the final standings, and then whenever you want to do a new pop-up thing, cool stuff. All right, there's a couple things I want to show you guys that are going to be what?
Sorry, I just clicked the live stream. Which live streaming? There's like no delay.
Congratulations! I think you're the only one watching it. All right, let's say we have what's something we can do? Like, let's say we do like a weekly matchup. Okay.
Okay.
Boom.
Whoa.
Obviously, this has obviously got my information filled out on both of them. Let me turn off that banner so that we can see the whole thing.
Imagine if you played against yourself.
Yeah, so we can do like a tail of the tape against one another. Okay, there you go. So that will be our matchup screen. This can be the weekly thing, so we can talk about each person and we can fill it out. Yeah.
Can you like reveal this in descending order?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So like we can have like fill it in and it can come in and
What about us setting order?
Yeah, that too. We can have it star wipe in. You can do whatever you want.
Wow.
What else? Oh, you know what I thought would be funny? Maybe we could do like after we make our picks, maybe we can do like a pick report card at the end of the thing.
Oh, now I got no job.
But we could be like
I just got replaced.
Yeah, whatever the pick, but we could just like review it real quick, and underneath you can do like your boom, your lock, or your whatever it is, upset. Yeah, and so we could kind of go by and be like, we can review the report cards. I'm kind of down with that.
Love that.
So anyway, that's cool stuff. I'm very excited.
I mean, it's really morphing into a video podcast.
I think this is very high end for very crappy content. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel like we have to be.
I think I
don't think it's crappy content. I think it's just content that nobody else would care about.
Yeah.
AKA. I think what I say is interesting, but no one cares about it. Does that make it not interesting?
I love this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Dude, Lloyd is going to love these new features, Pete.
Oh.
Let's go to the first round.
Yeah. Well, at least we don't have sound effects. That would drive what's his face crazy. All right. What do you want to talk about? We got to talk about the draft.
Wait, can I talk about something before the draft? Because that's the last segment, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be 40 in 2 days.
Yes, I am.
Let's talk about it. How are we feeling?
I'm pretty much backpedaling into it. I'm not going to lie. No? I might trip right over it. Yeah. I'll see you this weekend. We'll see you guys this weekend. All right.
I'll be there.
All right. Sounds great. I don't know what time it is.
Working on it. I'm trying to figure out when a kid's pitching.
I'm there.
Yeah. I don't want to.
What time's it start, Pete?
I think it starts at like dinner. I don't know. My family has this thing where they like to do like surprise parties and not tell me stuff, but then I don't know what to tell people.
I feel like I know a good amount of details about this party from multiple people who know about this party.
The later the better. I don't know. I don't have any details. Mike, you forward some details?
He didn't tell me anything. I texted Pete today. He didn't know anything.
I didn't know. I don't know anything. I'll talk to my sister.
I can text Kate.
Yeah, text me.
God bless her. Yeah, she's very busy. It's not.
I'll text Kate.
Yeah.
Hey Pete, listen to this. I'll tell your sister this weekend. I was at a lacrosse tryout this weekend.
Yes.
And there's a dad who I've known him for ages. I coach his twin daughters who are Evelyn's age, my 10-year-old.
Okay.
And we were talking about stuff in lacrosse. I'm like, I never played lacrosse. Town I grew up in didn't have lacrosse. He's like, where are you from? Or maybe I asked him, and I'm like, I'm from Milford, Mass. And he's like, what year did you graduate? I was like, I graduated 2003. And he's like, I actually went to college with someone, but she's older than you.
Oh, no.
I said, well, what's her name? And he's like, do you know who the DeLucas are? And I was like, do I know who the DeLucas are?
Who was it?
You ever heard of entering Milford?
Dave Sands.
I don't know. Was he a Williams guy?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
He said he was with Kate like 3 weeks ago in the city. He's like, I know Kate's husband. I know this. I was like, all right. Well, I'll talk to Kate about it this weekend.
Ah, man, it's a small world. They all know each other. It's bizarre.
Funny story, huh? I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then he didn't find it interesting. Then I'm like, yeah, Pete DeLuca's like one of my best friends. He didn't seem like it was like ironic. He's like, oh, cool. I was like, a little more excited, Dave. Like,
what a Williams
Maybe
guy.
he's an avid listener to the podcast.
No, definitely not. Sorry. Well, I'll see you Saturday, Pete. I'll be there. I have a gift for you, by the way. You're gonna love it. We'll talk about it on the pod next week.
You don't need to do gifts. Speaking of the pod next week. All right. Here is everyone go ahead, take a screen grab. Boom. All right. Here are the dates. Okay. This is what's going down. What are you laughing at over there?
The itinerary is perfect.
Yes. Okay. So here are the big dates.
He's got a break built in.
Yeah, because that's for Saturday, because everyone's like, what's going on Saturday?
August 21st. That's the day.
Okay.
That's most important.
So here's the deal. We also have an audience that just listens to audio. So right now we're showing a slate of like the most important dates of the things coming up. The most important thing really that you need to know, the next deadline is Friday, August 16th. That's when the roster cuts and everyone needs to pay. So roster cuts is you get it down to 10 and you got to pay me through Venmo or whatever you want. Then I think Wednesday we should get together for a mock draft. That would be the fourth annual Michael Turner mock draft. Sorry, I needed to burp. Now that I got that out, I'm much better. It will be the fourth annual Michael Turner mock draft, which was going to be amazing. Then we got Friday at DeVito's pool. We're going to go Saturday drafting golf, which we can get into deeper, obviously. And then we get into keepers. Basically, once September hits, it's kind of like every day there's something until opening night, and opening night's in the 5th.
It's go time.
It's go time. So for golf, here's the deal. I talked to Andy. I need to know the answer to one question, and this question always gets in the way. Do you want to go close, or do you want to go far, or do you not care?
Well, I mean, when you present it like that.
Close.
Okay. Do you want to spend do you want to spend over 100 or under 100 to play?
Who cares? We're spending no money on anything else. I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, don't care. So you want to go close? You don't care about the money, and can we? Are we going to act like jerks or no?
No.
Okay.
I would say last year was probably a good measuring stick. We were civil the whole time.
Yeah, I agree. And that course was a shithole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that one kid told me that I couldn't like step in front to pick up my tee off the driving range, and I called him a dick. But other than that, it was fine.
I think your timing is going to get bumped back a little bit because I don't think you're playing a 3-hour round.
Okay. Well, whatever. Basically, we don't need to do anything until 2 weeks
before
the way
you
date.
play.
Yeah, we don't need to do anything until 2 weeks before the date, and the date's the 24th. So Andy's like, I can't even make a reservation until 2 weeks before. So that's
did he say where he wants to go?
He said he's got a million places we can go. He just goes, I just don't know what to do or what anyone wants to do. Andy, the answer is we want to go close. No one cares about the money, and we will all act civil. That's basically what we're going with. I understand he golfs with people for work, and he's like, I don't want to bring guys that are going to be doing golf cart flips. I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Can we just make sure the course is okay with banana T-shirts?
Or
I will double check. I can't imagine that a place would not be.
Nobody will care.
But as far as Saturday the 24th goes, yeah, we'll talk about golf and we'll do the whole thing. Setup can obviously cut down some hours there. Dinner will be Pat DeLuca serving up pizzas at my house. We're gonna do the draft with the big board. Casey, you'll be good. You'll be happy to know I'll bring back the digital board, so you'll see who's available. That's your cheat code every year because you don't do any research. We'll have a little break because I know
I had my stuff last year. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah. We'll have a little break because I know Darian likes to pee, and then we'll go on to wrap everything up. So everything will be done around 9:00, and you bet your boy's going to bed at 9. So that'll be pretty much it. No, I'm just kidding.
Sign me up.
I'll put bet on that.
Who's opening night for football?
Baltimore at Kansas City.
It's a good one.
Dun, 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 dun.
In Kansas City?
Yeah, they're going to drop a banner.
Do you think Taylor Swift will be there?
Yeah.
Think they'll be engaged?
Of course she will be.
No.
Okay. I thought it was a good podcast. We filled up 40 minutes.
Are you guys excited about the Olympics or you don't care?
So excited.
What are you gonna watch? Women's basketball?
No, women's basketball is stupid. They're going to win by 100 points. Gymnastics, swimming.
Swimming's fun.
Swimming's fun. Gymnastics.
Sprints are fun.
Track and field is fun. Probably those the big three. I'll watch men's basketball because I can't believe this team's not going to win the gold, but I don't think they're going to win the gold.
They almost lost to Canada.
Dude, they almost lost to South Senegal.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Are there any athletes from like Connecticut or Massachusetts?
There's a guy who I used to work with whose daughter is the second best U.S. swimmer, Claire Weinstein.
Claire Weinstein, swimmer. Okay. There is a sprinter from Baltimore. Well, he's not from Baltimore. He's from Prince George's County, which is down by D.C. But anyway, he's like 17 years old, and he does the 4x100. So if he becomes really, really famous in like 3 months or like in 2 months, I want to say this
What's
kid.
his name?
I don't know his name.
2 or 3 months from now.
Yeah, I just know that he was really good. He's from Maryland, so that's all I know.
Pete doesn't know his name now, but in a couple months, it's going to be a household name, and Pete knows who he is now.
And then I'll know. And then I'll be like, I told you all about this guy.
Quincy Wilson?
Yeah, that's his name, right?
That's who it is. I Googled him.
Yeah. He
16,
is.
Dude, 16 years old.
Yeah. What about the kid that's 17 that's on the basketball team? Or 18. He's on Team USA. Cooper, or whatever his name is.
Cooper
He's
Flag.
not on a team.
He was on the team that scrimmaged. He was on the team that scrimmaged the team.
Oh, I thought he made
the guy that made them look
from Maine. He's from Maine.
Maine kid.
It's awesome.
Go to Duke.
Yeah, number one high school recruit in the country.
He should have been on the team.
They would even take Jaylen Brown.
So Pete, what do? We usually log off and then we chat on YouTube. I mean, on Google. Do we log off? Do we?
Yeah, are we done now?